Okay.
ArchAngel Summit 2019.
That's a wrap, as they say.
That's a wrap, and we're going to do our recap of the wrap.
Who in the room is here for the first time? Can you raise your hands? Wow.
So what stood out for you?
Just how aligned. I mean,
Yes.
so aligned.
I loved, because Seth Godin actually talked at the end, so I'm a fan of Seth Godin. He was talking about marketing. Marketing, the objective of marketing is to actually go and target properly, which is, in our case, the early adopters.
The laggards are so averse to tension, they want to go last. So when you want to change the world, who should you be talking to? Who is your smallest viable audience? Right?
And it's about minimum viable audience, which is actually different than the approach that the startups, scale-ups, and the incubators are actually doing, accelerators, which is minimum viable product, which is actually that it's all about me, and then I'll go and find an audience. Where his whole piece was minimum viable audience, and you only need a handful of people that are really fired up about what it is that you're all about to actually make this whole thing happen. And I thought this room was a grand example of people being fired up, because this whole conference is about people who are dreaming and
want to change the world.
And want to change the world. Yeah.
I loved the concept of the ROG, the return on generosity.
Yes.
And that idea of giving.
The infinite generosity prosperity loop. And you see, it's easy. I'll explain to you guys, okay? First, instead of starting only with your dream, which is what everybody does because that's what the society is teaching us, instead of only starting with that, I would challenge you, archangels, to see that in a slightly different way. And start with what I call OPD, other people's dreams, at the center of your intention.
Yeah, that was a breathtakingly beautiful presentation. He's got a grand model that actually, again, just so happens to align very much. Maybe that's what I like. I like everybody that actually aligns with me, which this whole conference absolutely.
Resonates.
Yeah, there was
yeah,
just
we talk about
tons of people.
resonance. Lots of people are resonating.
Yes.
This
yeah.
vibration and this frequency and this understanding that it's about community and coming together and being authentically or outrageously ourselves. And just giving freely with this concept that the world is abundant, and that's ultimately what it's about, moving from the scarcity to abundant.
The thing I now, when I'm kind of doing the click through of the presentations I was listening to, Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yes,
was
love
freaking
her.
awesome.
So good.
So
right? This is a rule that is based in the profane masculine. It's the idea of conquer, destroy, smash and grab, subjugate, take what you want just because you want it, because you say so, because you have more power, and because you like it, right? And everybody else can just suck it. That's basically the rule. Fortunately, we aren't governed by laws like that anymore, and there are no more men like that operating in the world, certainly not in leadership positions in my country of the United States of America.
The profane
feminine, and the profane masculine that brings out the profane feminine, and how to flip that to the divine masculine and divine feminine. And we had literally just come from a lunch conversation around this topic. Walked in on the lunch break exactly when she started on the stage, and that was such a beautiful presentation.
That was, and she also said at the end of the presentation that she what she ended up presenting, she changed on the elevator up.
Yes, she was going to talk about something different.
Yeah, and then she went for this particular presentation, which I just found breathtakingly fabulous. Again, it aligned entirely with what we're about and what our message is.
I want to tell you that for women who are constantly holding yourself up to some ideal of what it means to be spiritual, what it means to be good, what it means to be compassionate, what it means to get on the other side of the self, I want you to just play in your imagination for a little while with this idea that what will actually restore the earth and everything that is fragile and vulnerable within it that women have always been the protectors of is if you get a self, dig deep into it, rooted in the ground, take the noose off your neck that you've been using to choke yourself and shame yourself and guilt yourself that you're not good enough. Trust that there's an inherent goodness in you, there's an inherent decency, there's an inherent compassion.
This concept we're calling marketelling, which is about story, which is about resonance, can actually identify a minimum viable audience and then help them be outrageously successful. And the fabulous thing that happened is she shifted that, and then Seth Godin, who was the last presentation, he had a whole deck, and I remember yelling at him on the way up. Were you with me?
Yeah,
I said,
we saw him on the escalator. He
Yes.
was going down, we were going up.
So some part of me thinks I was able to participate in actually shifting Seth's mindset to go, like, you know what? I'm in a room full of people who are early adopters who are actually all making it up on the fly. I think I'm going to make it up on the fly in my presentation, and that's what he ended up doing.
Yes.
So it was.
And that's like the concept of like streaming. Which we
Streaming
talk about.
entirely relative to your audience base.
Right.
Stream what it is that they can actually hear, but you can actually be the voice for them and tell stories that resonate, because you know it resonates from them because you're actually part of that tribe that's streaming.
What's that about? Everybody falls for that every time. And the reason that you held back is because you got taught to hold back from an early age. When you were 3 or 5 or 7, you realized if you gave it everything you had, your parent or your coach or your teacher was just going to ask for a little bit more. And so when you get to work, you hold a little bit back. Because the very nature of industrial capitalism is somebody wants something from you, and your job is to give them just barely enough that you get paid enough to come back tomorrow. But that's it. Because the entire system is built around the idea that you're going to show up and do what you are told just barely.
It was also cool, the men streaming from above, the women streaming from below, and how the challenge with male and female actually runs the gamut and has forever, because we're all talking same language but not able to actually
Different
connect.
interpretations.
Yeah.
Same words, but my interpretation of a word, you'll have something different insight, and I'm like, really? That's what?
That's
the way
yeah. Elizabeth did a fantastic job for me. I've not ever heard a presentation that appropriate to what I feel is actually going on the planet right now. Men and women are actually trying to figure out their roles, and then more importantly, how to work interdependently. So you got to figure out who you are first before you work interdependently.
Yes.
And we were locked in that, and the way that I responded was, I need to be more compassionate, because that's what I was taught by these great teachers. I need to be more compassionate. I need to be more understanding. I need to be more generous with my heart. I need to see it more from his point of view. And so I just kept softening myself and giving more. Take the shirt off my back. How many shirts off my back do you need in order to be happy? Take it all. Take the house, take the money, take the car, take everything that I am, take all the money I've ever made. What do you need? Go, take, I'll give and I'll give and I'll give and I'll give and I'll give, because that's what it means to be kind and to be a good person. But what happened was that the more I did of that, the more enraged he became. And we got locked in actually what happens when the profane feminine and the profane masculine get in conflict with each other, and the masculine crushes and the feminine allows herself to be crushed. This is the darkest incarnation of what can happen between men and women. This is the darkest version of what can happen between us, and you were trapped in it.
It was very, very cool. It was very cool. Yeah, it's fun, and it's a fun energy to be around, because it's an energy that's very, very satisfying. It's very sympathetic to the whole idea of changing the world.
And going for your dreams.
Yeah.
Is that our wrap?
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's over and out.
Over and out.